In a world consumed by noise, ambition, and constant motion, it is easy to forget that the most powerful battles we fight are not in boardrooms, cities, or politics, but in the quiet corners of our own minds. Nearly 2,000 years ago, Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor burdened with empire and solitude, penned reflections not for glory but for grounding. His words, though ancient, remain startlingly relevant today. They are reminders that strength begins with self-mastery, peace with perspective, and purpose with presence. What follows is a journey through some of his most profound teachings. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Life does not promise comfort, but it does grant us one great power: the ability to shape our thoughts. True happiness is less about what happens to us and more about how we interpret what happens. But this isn't simply about thinking positively, it's about thinking truthfully. When the mind is trained to seek understanding, to reflect deeply, and to pursue what is real rather than convenient, it begins to align with a higher clarity. A thoughtful, introspective mind, anchored in reason and guided by truth, sees beyond surface struggles and finds meaning beneath them. In this way, the quality of our thoughts becomes the lens through which we either suffer blindly or grow wisely. Peace is not found in perfect conditions, but in a mind that sees clearly. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The world beyond us is ever-changing and often harsh, filled with uncertainty, unfairness, and events we cannot control. But the real storm often brews within. It is not the event itself, but the narrative we create around it that causes the deepest wounds. We suffer more in thought than in reality, and yet there lies our greatest power, the ability to master our inner world. Through quiet introspection, regular self-inquiry, and the discipline of meditation, we begin to observe our thoughts rather than be ruled by them. Emotional mastery is the key to masterful living, granting the clarity to respond rather than react. The mind, when left untamed, can be our greatest source of distress. But when trained, it becomes an unshakable stronghold. In that realization lies a strength no outside force can touch. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. Death is certain, but what truly matters is whether we ever awaken to the life waiting beneath the surface. Too many move through their days half asleep, muffling their dreams and settling for the familiar. Within each of us lies a vast well of untapped potential, often untouched, unexplored, and underestimated. We rarely live beyond a fraction of what we could become. Yet life holds the extraordinary power to transform completely in an instant. A sunrise turning night into day, a single decision igniting the spark of ambition and courage. To truly live is to dare to dream fiercely, to pursue those dreams relentlessly, and to refuse the complacency that dulls the spirit. This quote is a summons to break free from the mundane, to rise with boldness, and to begin living not in small increments, but in magnificent leaps. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. It is far easier to judge the faults in others than to confront the shadows within ourselves. Marcus Aurelius challenges this natural bias, calling for a profound shift. Extend patience and understanding to the imperfections of those around you. They are as flawed and fallible as you are, yet with yourself demand rigor and unwavering honesty. True growth arises not from comfort or excuses, but from holding oneself to a higher standard, one that cuts through self-deception and bias. It is in this disciplined self-scrutiny, this refusal to settle for mediocrity or evasion, that character is forged. By softening judgment outwardly and sharpening it inwardly, we create space for both personal transformation and compassionate connection. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. Our perception is a fragile prism, shaped by the contours of personal bias, past experience, and fleeting emotion. What we hear from others is rarely pure fact. It is filtered through their unique lens, colored by their beliefs and desires. Similarly, what we see with our own eyes is but a fragment of a far greater reality, never the whole truth. This awareness invites a vital pause before judgment, a space for reflection rather than reaction. True wisdom emerges not only from questioning the world around us, but from turning that scrutiny inward, examining our own assumptions and beliefs with equal rigor. In embracing this humility, we free ourselves from the tyranny of certainty and open the door to deeper understanding. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury, When someone wrongs us, it's tempting to respond in kind, but to mirror their behaviors to become like them. Real strength lies in restraint, in choosing integrity over impulse. By refusing to sink to their level, we not only protect our character, we rise above the very thing meant to pull us down. When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. In the relentless pace of daily life, the miracle of simply being alive can easily slip unnoticed. Marcus Aurelius calls us to greet each morning with profound gratitude, not for fleeting successes or material gains, but for the very breath that fills our lungs, the mind that awakens to thought, and the heart that opens to love and connection. These are the quiet wonders beneath all else, gifts that cannot be bought or earned. To begin the day with this awareness is to root oneself in presence, to recognize that life itself is the greatest blessing, a wellspring of joy and possibility that transforms every moment from routine into sacred.